During my workshops, I have come across this question on when do we stop innovating on anything particular. So, so the question is now the answer to is not a date or a time, but the answer to is a concept of business evolution. When do we know something has evolved, or what is the direction in which a business should evolve? So there are two concepts in this. The first is that um, form, and the other is functionality. We need to understand this. For example, the functionality, when first the telephone was created as a device, we all remember that the classical telephone which was there. Now this does not exist in this form anymore. It might exist in the form of a small cell phone, or it might be a part of an existing gadget now, some other existing gadget. So what happens is that the form changes, but the functionality of communicating remains, and the quality of this functionality improves. So this is what we mean by business evolution. When we talk of business evolution, always remember that there's a concept of form and there's a concept of functionality. So till the time you are constantly improving on the functionality and changing the form, it will keep on evolving. Now, the word innovation, the word disruptive innovation, there are many of these words which are now in the business parlance. But evolution is something beyond. So as product managers, if you are managing a product portfolio, we look very often at the following concepts, which is the product life cycle management. Which product to keep, which to drop away, what is the cash cow, what is the dog, what is the rising star. um, we have all kinds of nomenclatures there. We can also say that you need to create products to meet the latent needs, and we need to create products to meet the explicit needs better and better. However, there's a limit to all this. This doesn't really help you evolve. This just helps you understand what are the needs and how to meet them. To evolve the product or the business line, as a business manager, you must focus on the 7 rules of business evolution. Now, these rules are defined in TRIZ. In fact, TRIZ defines 9 rules. What I will do here is to talk to you of 7 rules of business evolution. So, the first rule is every system evolves to become self-contained and self-controlled. Now, what does this mean? Consider the power system today. We have power plants which are being generating power far away. There is then a distribution system, and then it reaches our homes. This rule would say that this concept of power plant and the distribution system has to go away, and we should have a small unit which is self-contained outside our homes, which generates adequate power for the requirements of our domestic consumption or for the industrial consumption. This unit would be such that it will fulfill the other criteria of business evolution and business laws as we will be defining. So till the time the smaller unit concept is not reached, this system will keep evolving. What is the second law? The second law says that there has to be zero loss in transmission of energy between parts. So till the time, now consider an automobile. There are several parts and there is a loss of transmission which happens between parts. The engine generates more energy and the wheels, and by the time it comes to the wheels, already a lot of it has been lost in the transmission. So till the time this loss is not becoming zero, this automobile will keep on evolving. The other way to look at it is that earlier there were the electrical limit switches which would stop the motion. Now they have been replaced by electronic sensors. These are two laws. The third law of evolution of business is system will use, any good system will evolve to a level to use its properties, its own properties, to deliver the function. Now consider, earlier there was a cathode ray tube which used to permit energy to flow from one direction to the other. This was an external system. Later, when transistors were created, the whole concept changed from the cathode ray tube to the transistors, because then the system of the transistor, the doping system, it started controlling itself and deliver the functions through its own properties. So they found out germanium, and that particular crystal was having a particular ability to do that. The next is the rigid systems have to become flexible. Systems will evolve so that rigid systems become flexible. Now what does this mean? Look at, there are various rigid systems all around. Simple thing is curtains in our house. They are rigid systems. They are just draped on the windows. They can be given way to air curtains, and this air curtain can then can do the fundamental functionality of a curtain as well as do more. The fifth law of system evolution is that the system would cease to exist, but the function would be performed. And the function would be performed. So again, an example can be a watch which might cease to exist, and the function of a watch can be integrated into a cell phone. This is again similar to the sixth one, which is systems will merge to create a more complex system which will do several things. Think of the concept of apps and how apps can be used to monitor health. And the last law here that I want to consider is the law of increasing S field, which means to say that every system will evolve from mechanical to electrical to chemical to electronic and to electromagnetic. So basically then the system would be performing its function, but the system won't exist in this form. For example, today a driver might be needed to drive a car, but once the GPS based technology reaches to a certain level, the driver might not be required anymore and the cars will be self-propelled. So whenever as a product manager or as a business leader, you are faced with the question of when do we stop innovating? What's the limit of innovation? Ask yourself, am I asking about innovation, or am I now stepping into the concept of evolution? And evolution will stop only when the seventh law is achieved, or when everything that we are doing reaches to the level of perfection of the human senses. So evolution of business is a very long way. Today business is far away from being evolved to the level that it should be. So there's a long way to go. And as a business leader, always keep these 7 laws in mind so that you can constantly evolve your business and not get caught by some other um, evolution parameters.